Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a plain C++ project using CLion and then how to save that project using Git. So first we're going to go to gitlab.uwe.ac.uk. You'll need to log in using your normal UE username and password, then click New Project and create a sensible name here, Practical 1 for example, and then you can set it to be private or public, entirely up to you, and then select Initialize Repository with a README. Now this will create a blank project on the cloud, but we need to make a copy of this project on our local machine. So we click Clone, copy the HTTPS URL, and then go to Source Tree, go New, Clone from URL, paste the address in here. We're going to put this in a sensible location. So on my desktop I've created a folder called SDA. Then in here I'm going to create a folder with the same name as our repository, and then select Open and then Clone. And this will copy what's on the cloud to our local machine. And a window will open here for our project in Source Tree. So let's have a look in Finder at what's happened. There should be two things here, a folder and a file. If you can't see the folder, that's because you haven't got hidden files set to visible. So you need to Google how to do that on OS X. And then there's a README file in Markdown format. So again, Google Markdown to work out how to add text to this file. It's very simple. And anything you add, once pushed back to the server, will show up down here. So let's go to CLion and create our project. So we're going to select New Project. We want a C++ executable with a language standard of C++ 17. Then we're going to browse to our folder and create the project in there. We don't want to use the existing files for our project, so we're going to select No here. And what we should have is a main file with a basic hello world statement in here. If I build and run, then we can see hello world here. Okay, great. Let's have a look at what's been created. So we see all of our source files plus a load of intermediate files that are created by CLion. If we go to Source Tree, we can see all of the files are shown here. There's 40 of them. Most of them we don't actually want to save in the repository because they're just created during the build. So we need to tell Git to ignore them. The way we do that, there's lots of ways to do it, but we need to create a file in our repository called git.gitignore. So I'm going to, in CLion, go New File, .git ignore. We'll add it later, so I've hit cancel there. And what we have is a blank text file, and any files or folders that we add to here will be ignored by Git. So let's ignore the build files first. So I'm going to copy the name of that directory, paste it in here, and hit save. If we go back to Source Tree, we'll see the number of files that are identified as having changed is much smaller now. But we still have these files that we want to ignore here. So I'm going to copy this one. I'm also going to paste that to my gitignore file and save. And now we should only see a very small number of files that are the ones that we actually want to save in our repository. So to commit these, which is the terminology for saving them in the repository, I'm going to drag them into what's called the staging area here. I add a comment to the commit, so adding project, and then I hit commit. Now this has saved them into my local repository as a commit, but we also want to back them up to the cloud. So we hit push and OK. And this pushes all the files back to the server. So if we go back to this page here and refresh, what we will see is that we've got some more files here. And if we click on the commit history, we can see there are 2 commits, and the one I just made was the most recent change. So if I wanted to make another change, say I want to say hello Tom instead of hello world, I can build and run just to check that that's worked because we don't want to commit any code that doesn't compile properly. Back in Source Tree, any changes are shown. So we can see the file that's changed and also the lines within that file that's changed. So I'm going to put this in our staging area again. I'm going to add a commit comment for myself in the future so I know what I've changed. So saying hello Tom now. Oh, I don't need the quotes twice. Hit commit. And then again, I'm going to push this back to the server. If I refresh here, we should see our latest commit. And if we click on it, we can see all of the changes that were made. We can also view the commit history in Source Tree. So any commits that you make are shown here. And that's it.